Today we're going to count down the top 10 omnibus and collected editions in my collection. Stay tuned. Before we get into it, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, and drop a comment. It'll get yourself entered in a giveaway. Now, this was a hard list to create, hard to pick 10 books, hard to put them in order, but I did it, and now it's here for you. So without further ado, let's get into this top 10 omnibus and collected editions in my collection. So let's go. Coming in at number 10, the first on the list, we have Absolute Dark Knight, the beautiful Absolute edition here, which is, man, I don't have too many of these in the collection, but this is one that I definitely had to get. But I love this story, man. The Dark Knight Returns. The second half of the story isn't that great with The Dark Knight Strikes Again. Those aren't really my favorite, but yeah, I mean, at least you do get Batman beating the shit out of Superman with these, like, kryptonite gauntlets in that, which is pretty badass. But this is a wonderful story, man. Love the artwork throughout it. The story itself is just fantastic. I love this version of Batman, just the big, brooding, just older version of Bruce Wayne. And then you also get one of my favorite versions of the Joker, too, which is that, like, Zoot Suit style Joker. He's absolutely insane. He, like, murders a whole audience of people with this poison gas and shit. Just a really phenomenal story. Joker looks awesome too. He's a fucking absolute psychotic bastard throughout this book, and he's like a more of a bigger style, not like the kind of like skinnier versions that we normally get of the Joker. So I was a big fan of this. This is definitely one of my favorite books that I have in the collection. Like I said, this half of the story here isn't the best, but the Dark Knight Returns stuff is phenomenal, and it definitely, it has to be a part of the collection. This will always stay with me, man. This is one of my favorite books of all time, and it's just an absolute beautiful book. I love these Absolute editions, man. So had to come in at number 10. Coming in at number 9 here, we have the Cosmic Ghost Rider Omnibus Volume 1 by Donny Cates, man. This is one of my favorite reads as well. This is just a phenomenal book, man. You got Thanos Wins in here. You got a bunch of different, you got the Cosmic Ghost Rider. Cosmic Ghost Rider destroys Marvel history. You also get some of the Guardians of the Galaxy by Donny Cates in here. But it's just such a cool story, man. How Donny Cates turned Frank Castle into the Cosmic Ghost Rider is just so fucking cool, man. I mean, he punches baby Thanos in here. He puts a gun to his head. There's some great epic battles, some really cool time travel and shit like that. There's a bunch of cameos from different characters throughout the Marvel history. You get like Cable and some of the X-Men and stuff. And then you have, you know, Cosmic Ghost Rider himself going back and just fucking with Marvel history, like the Dark Phoenix stuff, some stuff with Captain America. He goes back and like fucks up Hitler. It's just full of stuff that you want in comics. Just crazy events and action-packed moments, beautiful panels with just crazy popping color, man. Just tremendous stuff. And I actually just gave this another read recently. I love me some Cosmic Ghost Rider, so that had to make the list. And coming in at number 8 here, we have Firepower, Book 1 by Robert Kirkman, who is just one of my favorite authors of all time. He's just such a good fucking writer. I love The Walking Dead. I'm a big fan of the Oblivion Song series, and Firepower does not disappoint either. And it goes back into like the shit that I used to like watch growing up, like the old school martial art movies. So you get like just a story unfolding, and you get the twists and turns that you normally would get in like a Robert Kirkman book, which he's just so damn good at. And the artwork is just really good too. I mean, one thing about Robert Kirkman, he's a great writer, but at the same time, he knows when to let the art speak for itself. So there'll be pages just full of sick like fights between these like people, or just whatever going on, people sneaking into this dude's house, which is fucking just so good, man. It's a really phenomenal story, and I can't wait for book 2 of this actually. So this book contains like the prequel to Firepower, and then it also contains the first 12 issues of Firepower, which is fucking awesome, man. So if you haven't read Firepower yet, you definitely need to get on it and pick yourself up this hardcover, because it's amazing. So definitely had to make the list. At number 7 here, we have the Uncanny X-Men Omnibus Volume 2. I was trying to figure out which X-Men Omnibus. I didn't want to put a bunch. I didn't want it to be a list of just X-Men Omnibus. So I figured Uncanny X-Men Volume 2 is probably the best one to go. This one has, you know, it's written by Chris Claremont. It's got some of the most epic stories in X-Men history. I mean, it's got the Dark Phoenix saga in here. Then you also get like Days of the Future Past collected in this. This is just one of those omnibus that as soon as it gets a reprint, it sells out immediately. This book is almost always out of print. It's always selling for crazy prices because it's such a fucking good book, man. Wendigo there looking crazy. But just a really phenomenal book, man. This is like X-Men history at its finest. So if you are looking to get an omnibus of any kind of the X-Men, this is definitely one to pick up. This and Uncanny X-Men Volume 1. Then you can also go with the Jim Lee stuff. Volume 2 is also really good too. I almost threw that on the list, but I decided to go with this one because this one is just, it's full of just great stuff. I mean, the Dark Phoenix saga is still roaming around today with those storylines, so this is definitely one that had to make the list. Love me some X-Men, man. I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Organic Priced Books, the best place to get your omnibus and other collected editions. Super fast shipping, bulletproof packaging, and amazing customer service. Use promo code DROCK to get $2 off your purchase at organicpricebooks.com. Join the OPB family today. One of my more recent reads here, which quickly jumped to being one of my favorite omnibus of all time, we have number 6, Punisher Max Omnibus Volume 1 by GARTH Ennis. Man, this is a fantastic story. I am just in awe of how good this whole run is. Haven't read Volume 2 yet, but that'll be coming out for sure very soon. But you have like the history of how the Punisher became the Punisher, him just going wild in Vietnam, man. Some great storylines. Definitely some real cool characters that pop up into this book, and just absolute brutal violence throughout it. I mean, this book is super, super dark. I mean, Punisher, Frank Castle is fucking up people throughout this whole book. Then you get the Kitchen Irish storyline here, which is also very good. One thing that's great about this book too is that it's just broken up to a couple different story arcs, which I really am a fan of that. Sometimes when you just have stuff tossed in there that really doesn't go with what's going on in the storyline, it's not the greatest. I like that this is just 5 or 6, I believe, different story arcs throughout the book. And man, each one of them is super solid. GARTH Ennis does a phenomenal job, and the artwork throughout it is just absolutely fantastic, man. Definitely a great book. At number 5 here, we have The Boys Hardcover Omnibus Volume 1. I went with Volume 1 because that's where it all starts out, man. You get the introduction to the boys. You get Huey Campbell and Billy Butcher, Mother's Milk, the female, Frenchie. Then you get the 7 man, which Homelander is still, to this day, like, he is one of my favorite characters in comics of all time, man. He's such a just demented, diabolical fucking dude, man. I love the artwork throughout these books. Derek Robertson absolutely kills it. And then you have the writing from GARTH Ennis. I mean, this is one of those ones that love it or hate it. Some people are not fans of the Boys comics, but I, for one, am. I like the non-PC, the language, the just really fucked up situations that happen in it. I like the goofiness of everything that happens throughout these books. The violence is really good, and just the story altogether is just really great. And the twist in the end of this Boys series is fucking amazing. So definitely love me some Boys. Some more DC up in here. For number 4, we have Absolute Swamp Thing Volume 1 by Alan Moore, man. What can I say about this? This is one of the greatest comic runs in history. Everybody knows Alan Moore's Swamp Thing is fucking fantastic, and these Absolute editions are fucking something that everybody needs in their collection. The mossy feel to these books is just super cool, and then you have the slipcase that's just has beautiful artwork on it, man. These books are super well made. Some of the older ones, I believe, fall apart, but if you get the newer prints, they're all fine. This one is a newer print, and there's nothing wrong with it at all. But man, I love the artwork throughout it. The color has been redone, so some people do complain about the recoloring of this book, or this entire run, actually. But I never read the original stuff, so I don't really mind that it's been recolored, and everything just pops and just looks so good. And Swamp Thing is just such a cool-ass character, man. That issue sucks. There's one bad issue in this, but other than that, this whole run is really fucking good and had to come atop the list. Next up at number 3, we have Berserk Deluxe Edition Volume 5. I had to go with Volume 5 because this is where the insanity really takes it up, like, to level 11, man. It gets absolutely insane in number 5, and I love this Berserk storyline, man. These deluxe editions are beautiful. I'm so glad Dark Horse is putting these things out. I think we're up to 11 now, and 12 should be coming out somewhat soon. But man, love that picture of Guts there, looking insane. This is just a really phenomenal story. If you haven't gotten into the Berserk series yet, definitely check it out. I was never really one to like mess around with manga at all, but man, these Berserk books are so insane. Like, the artwork is super good. There's not a whole lot of dialogue throughout this either, so you're kind of just flipping through and just seeing crazy artwork and battles going on, but it gets super dark, and it's just a fantastic story, man. Love me some Berserk action, so this had to come top of the list. Coming in at number 2, we have Uncanny X-Force Omnibus by Rick Remender, man. This is a phenomenal book. This is one of the first omnibus I ever got, and it's such a good fucking story. The artwork in it is really good, man. Rick Remender just has some really great this X-Force storylines throughout this stuff, and you get a bunch of like really cool characters. You get a great character arc of Archangel, actually. Like, his whole story throughout this book is really, really good. I got introduced to Phantom X in this, he's a really cool character too. And you got like Psylocke and Wolverine and Deadpool, man. It's a really just great fucking book. Some great like throwbacks to like Age of Apocalypse stuff, which is pretty awesome. And it's just really well done. I mean, this is definitely one of the greatest omnibus of all time. It's out of print currently. Hopefully we get a reprint on it sometime soon, man. But this one is just phenomenal. I'm a huge fan of the Uncanny X-Force. One of the coolest Nightcrawler scenes of all time, where he just bamps a shark into the Blob's stomach and it eats him from the inside out, which is fucking crazy, but very close to my favorite omnibus in the collection for sure. Another book that I just recently read and became really my favorite omnibus in the collection, man. Number 1, we have Daredevil Omnibus Volume 1 by Brian Michael Bendis. This book is fucking so good, man. I don't know why I slept on this for so long. I had it sitting on the shelf and I was like, nah, I'll get to it one day. And I'm so mad at myself for not reading this sooner, because this book is fucking so good. Brian Michael Bendis' run of Daredevil is just legendary, man. Brian Michael Bendis definitely made me a Daredevil fan after reading this run. Like, I never was too into the whole Daredevil thing, but man, Matt Murdock is such a cool character, with the Kingpin involved in this, and the Owl, and a bunch of different other characters throughout this. And then you have the whole thing going on with, you know, the Daredevil trying to really like battle with the media. They're trying to reveal that he's the Daredevil, but he doesn't want to come clean about it because he doesn't want to get disbarred and maybe even go to jail and everything throughout this. So like, the real like human aspects of this character really come out in this book, and it's just great. You know, I really cannot recommend this run of Daredevil enough. So this definitely had to make number 1 on the list. Well, there you have it, the top 10 omnibus and collected editions in my collection. Drop a comment, let me know what your list is down in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, we are giving away Thor by Walter Simonson Omnibus and a mystery slab. All you got to do to get yourself entered in the giveaway is be subscribed to the channel, like and comment on a video where I mentioned this giveaway. When we hit 1,000 subs, I'll use a random comment generator to announce the winner. Good luck!